I have not been able to sleep like all night. I made a really bad decision yesterday for whatever reason when I was just at like the grocery store with my friends, and we got one of those like energy, like those watering flavorings that like are really tiny and you're supposed to like squirt in your water for like half a second to flavor your water. I never really loved those. I personally just like drinking plain water, but we were just, bored in our small town as people do. And apparently like I think half a teaspoon of one of those is like 60 milligrams of caffeine. And I think it has like 18 servings per container. And we're like, what would happen if we were to put all of it in one bottle? Like, how much caffeine that would be? And I think we did the math, it'd be like over 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. And we did not put the whole bottle into our glass of water. But as you get bored in small towns when you have nothing to do, we wanted to do a little experiment. We put a bunch in the bottle and I drank a good amount. And that was after I'd already drinking an iced coffee from Dunkin', which I had gotten before. And that was like yesterday, probably like 12 hours ago, because it's like 5 a.m. right now. And I'm still unable to sleep. I slept for maybe like 2 hours, which is better than nothing. But I went to bed at 1 and like kept waking up. So I guess if you're looking for a way to avoid sleeping, those little energy like water flavorings can really mess you up. So I've been up all night pretty much. But I still feel fine. I'm not tired yet. I'm probably gonna feel it pretty soon. But as of right now, I'm not tired. I'm using my like Chromebook as some lighting right now. But that was how my day went yesterday. And honestly, I had a pretty good day yesterday. I feel like I've been trying to do better. I'm on like spring break right now. And sometimes I'll go days or weeks, honestly, without really hanging out with friends. Not because I necessarily can't, because I think I am a social person. I like hanging out with people. Like, I wouldn't call myself an introvert, although I feel like I act like an introvert a lot. Because sometimes I find it hard to, like, put enough priority on, like, socializing. Again, not because I don't like socializing, but I get really wrapped up in my head, especially the longer I spend without, like, making plans and hanging out with people out of school, the more wrapped up I become in, like, my own little sphere of I need to be productive. I need to spend this time writing music. I need to spend this time playing, practicing guitar, practicing singing. I need to spend this time writing, working on schoolwork, whatever my current goal is. I like, at least I'm self-aware, but I know I get wrapped up in that really easily. So it can get hard for me to like get out of that. I feel like it's good whenever my friends come to me and kind of force me to make plans, because again, it's not like I don't like making plans. I love being social. I thrive off being social. I just can like kind of forget and sometimes not prioritize like hanging out with people my own age enough. So I think that's one of the best forms of therapy, honestly, at least for me. I'm sure everyone's different. I know some people have really bad social anxiety and that's like the opposite. But I think in general, anyone on any scale, it's good to socialize. As humans, it's good to socialize. It's not good to it can be very easy to lose touch and just like get wrapped up in your own shit. And I think regardless of, even if you do have these really strict goals, because sometimes I forget that I have these goals for myself that I set, but there's no like, I'm not gonna die if I don't, because, I really want a music career. And I'm like starting from nowhere, okay? I don't have any like trained musical experience really. I just started taking voice lessons. I didn't like grow up. I grew up surrounded around a lot of music, but I didn't grow up like taking voice lessons. I was never told when I was little like, oh, you have such a gifted voice. I've played guitar for the last couple years, but I'm not like a child prodigy. But I hold myself to these standards. Like, I really do want to pursue music, and I want to do everything I can as young as I can to like set myself up for that. And obviously it's like a hopeful dream, so many people want to pursue music. I've talked about that a lot, how it's not like 100% likable, what's the word, like set goal you can have for yourself. It's not like getting a job as a nurse, because if you want to be a nurse, you can set, there's things you can do that can pretty much guarantee you'll become a nurse. Obviously, it's still hard work. You have to take classes, get certifications, put money into school, put money or time into getting hours. It's still very hard, but it's a much more like guaranteed path that you'll at least get somewhere in that. But with jobs like music or art or photography, anything entertainment or more creative, it's a lot less guaranteed. It's a lot less, you can't be like, oh, well, I spent 5 years playing at local bars, so now I'm guaranteed to get a record label, or I'm guaranteed to have a hit single. It's a lot more chance and it's a lot more risk. But that's not what I was trying to talk about. But I was saying I have these goals for myself that like, okay, I mean, obviously it's not like set in stone. Like I can't, like I said, I can't guarantee stuff, but I think I want to spend more time practicing. I want to spend more time, you know, getting better at recording myself singing, feeling more confident in my voice so I can, as soon as I can, start like publishing. I mean, that's pretty far away, but I want to like start posting me playing covers. I'm trying to get better at like perfecting some songs, or, getting close to perfect to practicing songs so I can start, publishing myself playing covers, be confident enough to do that. I want to be able to play local gigs. I'm taking those steps. But I think it's also important for me to realize, I'm still a teenager. I still do have so much time. And I need to hang out with friends. I need to do this normal teen shit. I shouldn't lock myself in my room all day, become pasty, because it's getting nice and sunny out, honestly. Yesterday wasn't a great example. I was still pretty cold. The clouds were covering the sun for most of the day. But I shouldn't set myself up to like lock myself in my room all summer like a tortured artist and like just spend all day in bed like writing depressing, sad songs and playing guitar, okay? I need to do shit that I can write songs about. I've had plenty of things I can write songs about. I've had plenty of bad shit happen in my life. But I need to, I needed some good childhood memories too. But yeah, so I made plans for myself tomorrow. I'm going over to a friend's house. I mean, it's not like I never make plans. I'm not. I still am like a sociable person. Like I had a sleepover the other weekend, and it's also harder me being in foster care. My foster mom. I mean, okay, I'm not like coming at her, but there's a lot more strict rules, reasonably so. When you have like a foster child, you don't want anything bad to happen to them because I mean, you don't want anything bad to happen to your child regardless, but like reasonably so. I feel like a lot of foster parents are just more strict because, like this is someone else's child that you haven't known for a long time. It makes sense that you wouldn't want them like, out at parties till like random times in the night. So it's been like a little more limited on like me being social, being in a new school, and having a little bit more like strict rules about like where I can go, what times, and I have to like get rides too. Not everything can work out as far as like setting up social plans as a high schooler. But, I need to like make the most of what I can. If I can hang out with my friend for a couple hours, like a public park, then I can do that, even if I can't go to like Halloween parties, which I'll have plenty of time. I'll have plenty of parties to attend once I'm 18. I have all that to look forward to. So it's all right if I can't go to every high school party. But that wasn't what I was gonna talk about. I mean, I don't really usually come into these with like a set, I'm gonna talk about this. Usually I'll like have some random idea come in my head. I'll be like, I'm gonna start recording. And then I'll end up on like a tangent. I'll end up on like a rant about some other random thing. But I've been living at this home for 6 months now, which I feel like it's like one of the, maybe not the longest, but it's near like the longest ever since I like haven't lived at like the home I grew up in. It's one of the longest stays I've had in like one consistent spot, and it feels weird. I'm used to moving around and stuff. I'm used to being at different homes, staying with different people, different shelters. I'm used to, having everything kind of suitcase ready to move again in a couple months. So it definitely does feel weird being with the same people for 6 months, for living in the same town, going to the same, I haven't changed schools that much, but I did like online school when I was changing like houses around and stuff, which I kind of wish I didn't. This is like my first year of actual high school in person, which I definitely like more than online school, but I don't regret doing online school an extra year after COVID when I was, not really having a stable living situation because I would have had to like change schools and like miss a lot of school anyway. So it was definitely for the better. Like it probably made more sense for me to do online school. But I've spent like 6 months at this in-person school with these same people, 6 months living at the same house. It feels weird like having personal belongings pile up, like not just having everything, just your essentials so that when you have to move, you're ready. Not having more clothes than you can fit in like a couple of bags. Having like decorations, like I have like blankets and pillows that are like actually like decorated and not just like, standard whatever was here when I got here, Getting personal things. Like I started taking voice lessons. Like I wouldn't have done that if I was planning on moving soon. And that's like a good feel. It's a good feeling to like have consistency and stuff. But I think at the same time, as much as like I don't want to say this because I am so grateful to be here, I would much rather be here having this like certain like safe living space than like knowing that I'm gonna have to pack up my bags in a couple of weeks. Like it's great. It's wonderful having like this stable, I can't think of like the right word. But just knowing that, I'm staying here. Like, I'm not planning on moving anytime soon. But at the same time, like, I think I'm trying not to like think about, but it does feel weird. Like, it still feels strange. I've become used to moving around and stuff, and part of me does like miss. I like change. I think it's like a good thing. It's good to be adaptable. But I think part of me like does just become used to like having to adapt myself to new environments, to like meeting new people. So it feels weird like still being with the same cast of people in my life for this long. And again, like I'd much rather have this than me moving around. Like this is what I would choose. But it doesn't mean that there's still things that I don't even know if miss is the right word, but you just get used to moving around a lot. And it feels weird not having that. Part of me feels like stuck. But obviously I'm not stuck. Obviously me being here is me having the ability to graduate high school this year, to like have consistent friendships, to like have all this great stuff. But I think like anything, when you get used to something, it becomes like weird to not have it. So it becomes weird to like not be planning on, it's weird to not have the like adrenaline and stress of like trying to figure out where I'm gonna live in a couple of weeks. It's weird to not think like I have to figure out where I can sleep next month, because I know that next month I'm gonna be here, and the month after that. I mean, obviously stuff can change when you're in foster care. I mean, anything, no matter what your living situation is, it could always change. But as far as like, it seems right now that there's no reason I would be leaving this home until I'm 18. I mean, again, like that's 2 years from now. Stuff can obviously change. It's more likely for me to leave this home before I'm 18 than it is for like someone who lives with their parents and has like no issues with their parents. But like, it's weird imagining that I'm going to be living in the same town with the same people for 2 more years. And that's a good thing. Like, I'd much rather have that than anything else. But I've just become so used to moving around. It feels strange. It's weird thinking that like these people that I've like started building relationships with are going to be the same people in my life in a couple years. Like, I'm not I'm not going to get another fresh start, which is like, I don't know. It just feels strange. I'm sure if you've like moved around a lot, you can probably relate. Because there is part of me, I won't lie, there is part of me that misses like the adrenaline of moving. Not even like the adrenaline, but just I like meeting new people. I like living in new areas. I don't like being tied down, that's not like the best mentality. I won't lie. Like, I'm not saying, that's a great mentality to have, but I mean, it can be. Like, I definitely want to travel a lot when I turn 18 and when I can, choose that for myself. It's just weird imagining I'm going to be stuck here for 2 years. And there's so many like advantages that come with that though. Like, I'm able to graduate high school. I'm 16. If I wasn't living here right now, I'm not even sure if I'd be like graduating as a sophomore this year. But because I have this home over my roof and I've been able to live here this whole school year, I'm graduating high school 2 years early and starting college in either the summer or fall. If I didn't have that, I don't even know if I'd be graduating as a sophomore this year. Now, because I have this home, because I have this opportunity, I'm graduating high school, which I'm glad. But I think like I guess I'm always just someone who sees both sides. Like, I'm choosing to graduate high school 2 years early. But part of me is also thinking like I said, I did high school online for freshman year. So this is really the only year I've ever had of high school. And I like high school. Like, I'm not graduating high school because I know a lot of people graduate early or do online school because they don't like high school, which is many reasons you don't like high school. I can imagine why. Some people have social anxiety, some people just don't like being around. I can imagine why people wouldn't want to be at high school. But I'm not one of those people. I actually really love high school. I really enjoyed it, and I am kind of, even though it's my choice that I'm graduating early, I am still kind of thinking like, it would be nice to go to high school for 2 more years, to have that full experience. I'm never going to be able to go back to high school. Like, I'm never going to be able to like be in my 20s or my 30s or 40s and be like, I never got to experience junior year or senior year. I want to go back. I want to experience that. That's not an option. This is the end of an era. This is my last time ever. I think school ends in like a couple months. Not even. I'm on like break right now. I think if you like subtract the weekends and like the breaks or whatever, there's like less than 30 days of school left. 30 school days. Which is crazy that these are my last 30 days of high school. I think it hasn't really kicked in because of the fact I'm not like a typical senior, because of the fact I haven't gone to high school for 4 years because the fact I've only been going to high school for less than 1 year. I started the school year like a couple weeks late, so I'm not even getting one full year of high school in person. And I think I will regret that. Maybe I won't regret it more than not graduating early and, getting associate's degree before I'm 18. I think I'll still be grateful for that. But I think I won't lie, I think I'm gonna regret at least some parts of graduating high school 2 years early. And I'm aware of that now, which I could change my mind right now and be like, I don't know, I guess I could, like, they probably would let me stay in high school if I just, like, maybe if I just failed this year, I could just, like, stop taking all my classes and be like, actually, I need those 2 extra years. Like, I could do that. It's not too late, technically. But I'm gonna graduate 2 years early, and I'm gonna miss the fact that I didn't go to high school for 2 more years. Like, there is memories, it's just like an era. I mean, obviously not every single person goes to high school, but a good chunk of people, especially in America, that I'm gonna meet, like, are gonna have those 4 years of high school experience or 3 years or whatever. And I'm gonna only have one. And like high school, it is like a big part of your life if you go. It's not everything, but I don't know, I'm not gonna have those 4 years of experience. And I think I do know I'm gonna regret that, at least to like some extent. Because it's not even like I don't even enjoy high school. I like being around teenagers. This is like one of the most, you do have a lot of responsibility when you're in high school, but it's also, not like the real world yet. You're not working, most people aren't really working jobs or working like full-time jobs. It is like a certain bubble of what's like naive. I'm never going to be a naive high schooler again. I'm never going to get the chance to have this again. I think I'm going to go to prom, which is, at least I'll have that experience. Although prom tickets are so expensive. Oh my god, you would think, I mean, I guess it's like schools need money, but I don't know, if something feels kind of wrong about schools like asking for like $70. I don't know if it's $70. I think for like junior prom it's $70. But like asking like students to pay that much money to go to like their school prom, I don't know. I just think it should be free. Maybe that's like a hot controversial take, but I can't think of like a reason why prom shouldn't be free, or at least like $10 admission. Because not only are people like paying to go to prom, but most people put like a good amount of money in like getting a dress or suit or like doing their makeup and hair. So why are you charging these students? And I don't live in like a wealthy area. Like, this is a public school. Most people, I know people who aren't going to go to prom, not because they don't want to go to prom, but because they can't afford it. Like, I mean, this is probably more of an issue for like my school board or whatever, but I just think it's kind of ridiculous that you would charge that much for prom. I don't know. I don't agree with it. Hopefully, maybe I can get like a discount. I think if you like get your tickets ahead of time, it's cheaper. I don't think it's actually I don't know. So I heard someone say $70. I think that's fucking ridiculous to charge a student $70. My hair's been bothering me lately. My hair's so grown out. I used to have blonde highlights. I think I might just dye it full on black at this point because I can't afford to get highlights redone. If I can't afford to get my highlights redone, how am I gonna pay for a $70 prom ticket? Maybe my foster care agency will cover that. That is one of the perks. I mean, there's not a lot of perks of being in foster care, but one of them is that sometimes you can get stuff paid for. Like, I might get a bike this summer. It's paid for, and that would be cute. I want to live up my, summer on a bike. That'd be nice. Especially if I don't have a car yet. I don't know if foster care will pay for me to have a whole car. That might be asking for a bit much, but they might pay for my bike. I get like a clothes allowance every couple months to like go clothes shopping and get clothes for free, essentially. Although they have to like fall into certain categories. Like, they'll give me like a budget of like $25 to spend on bras, or like $80 to spend on hoodies, like something like that. And it has to like be specific. Like, if they say like you have $40 to spend on shorts, I can't buy a skirt, which I don't know. I mean, I'm free clothes is free clothes. I can't really complain. But, if it's like $1 over, it's a little annoying if it's like, it's a really cute shirt, but it doesn't fall into the right category or whatever. But free money is free money. So I guess if you're ever going into foster care, good to know you can get some clothes out of it. It's better than when I was living at shelters, because that was a luxury. That was like, you could get some clothes that were like donated or like they had in a closet, but usually those weren't the cutest outfits. Which I guess I'm glad I ended up getting into foster care. Right, I started high school when I was living at one of the shelters I was at, and I'm definitely glad I like moved into foster care soon into the school year, because I definitely felt, not only was I like starting at a new school, but I didn't have like my phone or anything. I didn't have a hair straightener. I didn't have that many outfits. I had to be a bit of an outfit repeater for like the first month or so, which was embarrassing. I don't know. High school, that's another thing. I guess I'll miss the whole. It's like one of the most judgmental. Like, I feel like when you're, I mean, it depends what you do for work or just what you do in general. But I feel like high schoolers are like one of the judgiest groups of people, for better or worse, because we're all just teenagers who, like to make drama. I mean, I guess every school is different, but I think most high schools have drama. Most high schools have silly stuff. I think it's good to just be kind of like aware that high school drama isn't the real world. Most people aren't that bitter or petty than they are in high school. But I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss like the silly high school drama. I'm gonna miss seeing like fights in the hallway. I'm gonna miss seeing like stupid stuff about like blah 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 said blah blah blah. It's fun. It's fun being a high schooler. It's fun like seeing all the random drama people get into. It's fun when you're aware of it. Like it's fun when you're kind of like a self-aware high schooler. Like, yeah, this is stupid that people are like getting into arguments or like have problems with these other girls over silly shit. But it's fun. It's funny. I'm gonna miss being a student. I mean, I'm gonna be going to college next year, but I like being a student. I like having teachers. I like, I don't know, like I guess it's kind of comforting. Obviously, like teachers aren't all knowing like forces or whatever. Like, and I think it's good to know that teachers they probably do. They're probably like smarter than you. Like to in certain extents, like your math teacher is probably better at math than you. They probably have more life knowledge because they're older than you. It's kind of comforting being around people who have authority. And obviously like your math teacher's not better than you because they're older or because they're smarter in math because they have a math degree. But they probably are like more experienced. They probably are smarter than you in a lot of ways. It's cool being around people who can teach you shit. I don't know. And I guess like in life that's not gonna go away. Just because you're not in school doesn't mean you're not gonna have teachers. Doesn't mean you're not gonna have like mentors and stuff. But I think it's cool being in a building full of people who want to teach you shit. I don't know. I think a lot of high schoolers or teenagers like don't think about it that way, or maybe they just don't think about it that way right now. And then maybe like years later they'll be like, it was cool. It's cool having teachers in your life, and you're probably always gonna have teachers in your life as long as you're like meeting new people. You're always gonna meet people who are older than you, who have more experience. Even people younger than you can learn from. Like there's probably some 9-year-olds out there who know more about like what's a topic, like how to like I don't know how to farm. There's probably kids out there younger than me who could teach me like a whole course on how to farm. And I think it's cool to surround yourself with people who have different interests in different niches. I mean, it's also good. Like if I want to be a musician, so I surround myself with other musicians who know more than me, who have more experience than me. But it's also cool, even if I don't want to be a gardener, to surround myself with people who know how to garden, because it's cool to learn from people, even if it's not something that's like super relevant to what you're interested in. I think it's always good to just pick up new knowledge, be a more well-rounded person. Like maybe I don't want to be, I don't know, a baker, but I'd still appreciate, baking with a friend and learning a new recipe. And then maybe in a couple years, someone will be like, oh my God, where'd you learn that recipe? Teach me. And then I'll be teaching someone how to bake, even though I'm not a baker. I think it's cool to have random skills, random, like, I'm not saying you have to like master 100 different million hobbies or skills or whatever, but I think, it's cool to be kind of more well-rounded. I guess it's like why school, like, I know some people complain or wish there was like more, I've talked about this. I've said like, I wish there was like more specialized classes in high school for, just to kind of like niche down and not always just take like a broad class, because some classes are really broad and it's like, I'd rather learn, or at least have like the option to learn for at least like a couple years, like more about like one specific thing than just like a couple fun facts about like 10 million different things, because then you really don't have a good grasp on, like, for example, like history. Like we'll spend like the whole year going over like 10 million different things in history, so then by the end of the year, like, I feel like I don't even really know anything. I just know like a couple fun facts I memorized. But I think if I were to like, if the year was like kind of split more into like 4 sections and we learned about these like 4 specific events or time periods in history, then I would kind of like, maybe I would know less like general stuff, but I would have a better understanding on these. I don't know. I can see like both sides, but it is good to have like more well-rounded stuff. Like maybe you don't want to be a math teacher or you don't want to do something in math, but I think it's still good to know math to at least an extent. Like maybe you don't have to take like algebra AP 1000 if you want to be like a, I don't know, like mechanic, or I mean I guess math can apply to a lot of stuff, but not everything's going to be relevant. If you're not going to work in science at all, Maybe it's not like you need to take AP biology, but it's still probably good to take science classes, just be more of a well-rounded person. Even if you really don't have any interest in like art or pottery, it's still cool to like hang out with your friends who is an artist and get some tips from them. It's cool being well-rounded. I don't know. I think I'm trying to like specialize a lot. Kind of was talking about like I've been like avoid just not making plans with friends or just doing stuff that isn't relevant to my goals, that isn't relevant to music or art or writing. Lately, I've been kind of just like isolating what I'm doing, spending less time doing like not relevant stuff. But I think it's still good to, and that keeps you like interested. I'm sure if I were to like stop doing anything that wasn't related to music or writing or my goals, I'd probably get burnt out pretty fast if I were to do nothing else but work on those things. I think it keeps your life more interesting when you have that diversity. Maybe you don't want to be a dancer, and maybe learning how to dance isn't going to help you at all in your career. But taking dance classes just for your own enjoyment, for your own learning, I think it's good to always be learning shit. And I am like someone who I struggle with like not doing things that I don't find relevant. Like I struggle spending money on things that aren't directly helping me. As much as I love shopping, like I love buying clothes, I love getting clothes, I just hate actually buying them because I'm like, spending money on this shirt isn't gonna help me do this. But I mean, spending money on like classes, like yeah, maybe you don't want to be a baker, but I think taking like a couple weeks and learning how to make pasta from scratch is still a cool skill to pick up for your mental health, for just being a cooler person, being able to say, I can make pasta from scratch. Maybe it's not going to help you become a software engineer if you want to be a software engineer. But there's just other skills, not every lesson you learn, not everything you teach yourself or get taught has to be relevant to your like financial career. Because then that life would be pretty boring if everything you spent money on had to be related to your career or whatever other goals you have. Because then we wouldn't do shit like travel or buy clothes or, have vacations, go out clubbing or whatever, if everything we spent our money on had to be related to either like survival or your financial career. So I guess that's my little advice for my little takeaway is, maybe if you have some extra money or for free, there's so much, that's another thing. Like, as I there's teachers in your life, regardless if they're like actual teachers in a school. Maybe spend more time with like someone who knows these skills, because people who have skills, people who know shit, most people like teaching it. Like maybe they don't want to be a teacher, but it's likely that old person in your life who knows a lot about fishing, they probably would love to teach you how to fish. Like especially older people who don't have like, who are retired or whatever and maybe don't have like a super busy life, they'd probably love to tell you about their World War history lore that they know about. They'd love to tell you about their model trains. They'd love to teach you how to bake cookies or their like recipes. Like it's good for yourself and for other people to, indulge them. Let them teach you how to make their secret salad. Let them tell you how to paint a watercolor paint, because not only are, I don't know, it's good for everyone. You're learning something. They're feeling like they're helping someone. Because that's one of the best feelings, is like being able to feel like you've passed your knowledge around, being able to think like, I taught this person something. Even if it's like a little thing, like helping little kids. I think that's a lot of reason people become teachers or like to work with little kids, because you're essentially like shaping the future generation, even if it's like something small, like you introduce them to this book. Maybe that book inspires them and they become a writer, or maybe it doesn't inspire them to become a writer, but it inspires them to be interested in reading for the rest of their life. Or maybe nothing happens, but you can still say, you introduced them to that book. You taught them how to, mix primary colors. You introduced them to music. It's a good feeling to introduce people to stuff and to build people's interests and skills. So I don't think I would ever want to become a teacher as like a career. But I think in general, everyone's a teacher to some extent. Like if you're not isolating yourself, if you're interacting with other people and to like talking, you're probably a teacher to some extent. I think everyone's taught people things, even if it's something small, like you taught someone what like a abbreviation meant, or like some new slang, or you taught like your grandma how to use the computer. You taught some little kid how to, I don't know, pose for pictures. You've probably taught people shit before. And it's a good feeling. I can see why people want to be teachers, because everyone's a teacher to some extent. I don't know, that was like some sort of weird rant about, I don't know, just what I don't like I don't start recording these really with like a plan on what to talk to. These are just kind of the thoughts that go in my head. So if you are curious what a 16-year-old thinks about, these videos are just me rambling. I'm not like reading anything and then just like rephrase. This is just random stuff that happens in my head. I'm probably gonna stop recording that because it's getting kind of long, but those are my words. Bye.